Hey, good afternoon or good evening.
What's up, man?
Not
Doing
much. How
all
you
right?
doing?
Doing okay.
That's
You get
good.
time last night?
Oh, yeah, I did. I did. We can talk about that later though, because we're live right now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we was live. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So this is Jennifer and this is Amy. I want to introduce you to before we get started.
Hey there.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. So, which one is Jennifer and which one's Amy by voice?
Um, Jennifer.
Yeah, Justice for Brittany Woods. So I'm Jen, and then the other
Okay.
one, the host is Amy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. To start us off, Steven, can you introduce yourself, give us a little background on yourself, and then talk about the case starting from the very beginning?
My name is Steven Wiggins. I'm on death row in Nashville, Tennessee. My TDOC number is 571277. I'm charged for premeditated first degree murder of Officer Daniel Baker of Dixon County, Tennessee. I'm 37 years old. I don't know what I'll say, Andrew. Give me some help here.
Okay, all right. So can you start off with talking about how the case came about? Like, can you start off with talking about actually how you met Erica, how she plays into this, and then start with the traffic stop and go from there?
Okay. I met Erica in Dixon County Jail in October 2015. I was actually locked up with a friend of hers, and she come up there to visit him, and actually started talking to a friend of mine, and I spent another 2.5 years after that, and was released December 15th, 2017, and got out, and I tried to reach my friend that I was locked up with on Facebook, and I couldn't get a hold of him, and I remembered Erica's name, and so I hit her up on Facebook to get in contact with him, and that's how me and her started talking to each other and getting to know each other. And let's see, the night before this happened, me and Erica had a flat tire on, I can't remember the name of the road. Anyway, it was an old gravel road way out in the backside of Dixon County on the Hickman County line. And I stayed up all night trying to get somebody to come get us or bring me a tire or whatever, And the fact of the matter is, I was so high I didn't know where the hell I was. Erica was asleep. I stayed up all night shooting massive amounts of methamphetamine. And just as daylight broke the next morning, Officer Baker pulled up on us, and that's how it all started.
And then can you talk about the events that unfolded as he pulled you over, and what transpired before the shooting took place?
Well, he actually like I said, we was already stopped, and he pulled in front of us, and he got out, and he asked us our names and stuff, and asked us why we was there, and I told him we had a flat tire and stuff, and I was insanely high at this point in time, and he walked around the back of the car. I figured to look at the tire, the car, and I started freaking out. He started getting louder and yelling at me, and the door on the car, the metal rod inside the door, would pop out of the door lock mechanism if you like hit a big bump or anything. Like I said, we was on an old dirt gravel road, and I couldn't get the door open. And I had a pair of pliers in the floorboard, and I told him, I need some pliers to open the door. So I reached down to get hold of the pliers, and whenever I went to reach for the pliers, I was so high that I forgot that I had a pistol on me. And I got the pliers that wasn't, I didn't just immediately do that. And I was I got the wire back in the door. But things had ensued between us to such a level of, hostility between the two of us that I was scared to open the door, especially knowing that I had a pistol laying right there by my foot. In the situation I was in the state of mind I was in, I was pretty convinced of myself that as soon as he saw it, he was going to shoot me. So he went around. He went to go around to the passenger side door to get us out of the car, and I didn't even. My intent was not to shoot him to begin with. In the first place, I was going to try to run and get away, and things like that. I didn't even see him, but as he came up to the passenger door, I shot through the passenger window and hit him, and he disappeared out of sight. And as I wanted to run from the car, I sent him on the ground, and he was lying there dying. And I executed him, to make sure he was dead. I knew whenever I saw him that he was not going to live. And I told Erica to run, and I got his vehicle. I loaded him up in it, and I left. And I only went 3 miles away, and pulled off the road into a field. And I did another big shot though, and I set the car on fire. After I took weapons and stuff from the car, I set the car on fire and proceeded through the woods. And I hid in a creek for 3 days, I think it was. I had 10 pounds of methamphetamine on me. I hid in a creek for 3 days, just doing enormous amounts of drugs. And then I come out, and I was going to try to find a way to get out of the area I was in, or a house or somewhere, where I could get in out of the creek, and possibly some food and stuff. And I had a seizure on the side of the road and passed out in the road, or in the ditch on the side of the road in tall grass. I came to because I heard vehicles come past me, and it was 2 state troopers. And the second one in line apparently saw my foot was up on the edge of the road. That's the only part of me that was exposed. And they backed up, and I was arrested without incident.
Before I ask any questions, Amy or Jennifer, do you have any questions that you want to ask him, or anybody in the chat want to ask him?
I do. So, you said that you met Erica at another facility. What was your previous background like?
My previous background, I have several aggravated charges of assaults and uh, vehicular uh, like running from the police and vehicles and stuff like that. I actually had pending kidnapping charges, especially aggravated kidnapping charges on me at the time. And yeah, I was in some pretty serious stuff all due to my life of untreated mental health diagnosis and drug abuse.
Were all of those while untreated mental health and drug use?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, by the way, for the people who are just joining, this is Steven Wiggins. He's on death row in Tennessee, and it was for the death of Officer Baker. What year did it happen?
2018, May 30th,
Okay.
2018.
Okay. Um, so what, I guess, what was your life like prior to, you know, all of this, like as a
That's what I was
kid?
going to ask. That's exactly my question. What was your home life like as a child?
As a child, not a very good one. I had a very abusive, drug addicted father, and I know most people they say abusive and they overuse the word, but I'm talking about. I had pictures that was presented in court of me from the ages of 3 and 4 years old with the whole side of my face just completely black from where I was kicked in the face and just, I mean,
That's terrible.
it was almost a daily point of beating.
Wow.
My dad had this kind of, he wouldn't stop beating you until you used the bathroom on yourself. It was like his kick. You know what I mean? When I was 12 years old, the way that me and my mother got away from my dad was when he tried to kill me and my mother by chasing us through the woods with a rifle and a spotlight.
Wow.
That is crazy.
I have seizures nowadays because when I was 2 years old, my dad hit me in the head so hard with a 2x4 that I have blunt force trauma to my brain that causes me to have seizures.
Wow. We do have a person who has asked if there is any remorse.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Someone asked if you have any remorse for the killing of Sergeant Baker.
Well, yes, I do. It's the most horrible thing I've ever done in my life. And I don't feel sorry for me personally. I feel sorry for his family. I feel sorry for Erica and her family. I feel sorry for my family. I feel sorry for the people that are affected in their lives. I mean, it's the most horrifying thing a person can do to another person is take their life. I mean, it's not just a two-person ordeal. It's a whole family on both sides. Anybody involved, friends. It's bigger than two people, and it's something that should never happen.
Do you have how is like your family now? Do you have a support system through any of them?
I got some real good friends. I got my mama. I got my aunt. I got my son. I got my two religious consultants that are going to be with me the last few days while I'm on death watch. Before I'm executed, they're going to be the two people that I get to spend my last 2 days alive with before I'm executed. You know, I got friends around here that, believe it or not, this death row in Nashville, Tennessee on Unit 2 right here is the best place I've ever been locked up in my life. As far as people wise, we don't have gang violence. We don't have drug overdoses. We don't have fights. Really, we don't have. I mean, it's just it's not a problem here. It's not an issue. If somebody's hungry, somebody gives them something to eat. Because most of these guys have been here 20 years or better together. It's a completely different experience. Everybody coincides and helps people, each other, try to, fight their legal battles together. If it's an idea that can help one person, it's to help everybody. You know what I mean?
I do. I actually am a law professor, and I work with an organization that does things with prison reform and stuff, and it's something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, I like I said, this is. I tell you the truth, I'm safer where I'm at right now than living the life I was living on the streets. I have a better life right now where I'm at than what I was out there doing and the way I was living.
That's interesting.
That is honestly, that is scary. That
Yeah.
life outside is worse than life in there, and I'm actually kind of encouraged maybe a
And
little bit to
I
see
want to say
that.
one thing. I didn't carry a gun to hurt people. I carried a gun because the kind of lifestyle I lived and people that I had to deal with and situations I had to walk into. I carried it to keep me and anybody that was with me safe. You know what I mean? People who know me that we was walking into sketchy situations, they knew that if anything went down that they was to run. You know what I mean? They was to go save themselves, and I would do what I had to do to get out of there, you know?
So, all right. So we have a couple of questions. One is, do you like what are your religious beliefs? You know, now, like, has that changed and through all of this?
Do what?
What are your religious
I'm
beliefs?
sorry.
What are your religious beliefs now? Do you have any religious beliefs now?
I'm a more spiritual person. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I'm not Christian. I'm not Muslim. I'm not Buddhist. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not necessarily, on the terms of worship, quote God or quote Jesus. I believe in higher powers. I believe in, doing good for good in return. I believe in the aurora around you, you know what I mean? Of put out positive and positive will come to you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it. I actually, I was kind of raised as, relationship over
I'm actually
religion.
part of a class from Swanee College in Tennessee called Education for Ministry. It's a theological class on the Bible. It's a 4-year college course.
You said you did that?
It goes through and breaks down the Bible for what it really is. And most people that take the course are not Christians or Muslims. You know what I mean? They're open to biblical knowledge. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. So, my mom wants to know, what about your dad? Was your dad abused when he was younger?
Do what?
Was your dad
Was
abused when he was younger?
Yes. My grandpa, my grandpa Wiggins, God rest his soul. Pope. His name was Pope Alvin Wiggins. My dad was the youngest of 13 children. And my grandfather was a coal miner and a moonshiner. And you can look up my grandfather's history. He went to federal prison for moonshining and all kinds of things. Mental health, schizophrenic disorder runs severely in the Wiggins bloodline. My dad, when my brother's 5 years older than me, when my brother was just a little kid, my dad and one of his brothers got into a fight, and my dad's brother Troy was actually cutting my dad with his knife, and my dad shot him and almost blew his whole shoulder off with a 12-gauge shotgun. That's how our family is. You know what I mean?
Where was your mom in all of this? Was she also abused by him as well?
Yes, ma'am.
How many did you have siblings? I can't remember if you said that already.
Do what?
Did you have siblings yourself?
Yeah, I got an older brother that's 5 years older than me.
All right, Andrew, you can ask questions now. I think I've asked everything.
Okay. So, Steven, you said schizophrenia runs in your bloodline. Are you schizophrenic? And if so, do you have any other mental illnesses that you can talk about?
I've been diagnosed schizophrenic since I was 9 years old. I've been on medications and then out of therapy. I also have compulsive rage disorder, PTSD, anxiety out the wazoo. I have nightmares constantly. I can be in a room by myself with a deck of cards and play a 4-man hand of spades and not know what the other person has in their hand and play by myself. I do it all the time to myself.
Were you hearing voices the day that of the murder? Like, were you hearing voices or having hallucinations that weren't caused by the drugs?
I'm hearing voices right now. I know it's not a laughing matter, but it's something that I've dealt with now, the more intense drug use I do and the more intense situations one thing, I know it sounds plumb stupid. I know it does. And it's not a reason, it's not an excuse, but somebody getting loud with me, yelling at me. It puts me to a place of beyond return. And I know what it is. My dad used to scream the whole time he would beat me. You know what I mean? You can walk up and punch me in the face, and I will tell you, don't do that. But you can walk up, get in my face, scream, and I will flip the hell out. in my case, I finally they did MRIs and PET scans of my brain. I have a hole bigger than a quarter is around in my front lobar cortex. And basically what I've been told is once something happens, I don't have a stop.
That's interesting.
Huh?
I said, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, Steven, the day of the murder, were the voices telling you anything like to kill Sergeant Baker or to not get out of the car or anything negatively that
Well,
impacted you?
I mean, yeah, there was so much going through my head of panic and, just this, it come across my mind of this is the day you died, right here, on this back road. There's not going to be a moment past this. This is the situation that you're in that you're going to die. You know what I mean?
So,
I'm not saying after looking back at the body cam and stuff like that, you know what I mean? The situation wasn't that severe, you know what I mean? But to me, in my mind, at one time, in my mind state, on drugs, with my mental health, and just that's where I was at that time. You know what I mean?
where are you at in terms of your legal appeals?
Actually, my lawyers are filing a motion for new trial this month.
That's interesting.
I just got sentenced August 12th, 2021. I haven't even, like I said, this is my first motion for even a new trial before I even get to the appeal stage.
Are they doing it based on is it like ineffective assistance of counsel?
There was a lot of things in my trial that wasn't right. I'm going to make a statement right now. Brian Hudnall is the biggest, lyingest piece of shit on this earth. He used Daniel Baker's death and his family's tragedy for his own personal gain to keep from going to prison over some shit he had already been done years before because he was scared to go to prison.
Who is that? Is that the DA? Who was that?
Brian Hudnall was a guy that I sold dope to.
Okay.
Violated his community corrections, 5 years community corrections. May, June, July, August, September, October.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Hang on, I'll call right back.
So, Sonny, I can tell you that that I don't think blaming legal issues is the same as blaming the actual event. And that has a lot to do with just a lot of post conviction stuff that I've seen, and seen like how insane things can go. It can just go downhill, and if you don't have somebody who's there to stop it, it's a mess.
To accept this call, press.
All right. Yeah. So before we got cut off, you were talking about who that man was that you said was the biggest piece of shit ever. Can you leave off from there?
Brian Hudnall was a guy that I met through somebody on the streets that didn't have nothing. Lived at home with his mama, didn't have a penny to his name, that was a drug addict. I served him dope, and the fact was he was a diabetic, and I had recently started shooting meth. And so I would give him abundant amount of dope for needles just so that I was trying to help him out, not just by giving him dope, but the fact that he could possibly make some money off of it, or do something more than live off his mama and bum off everybody. And he said, because he got arrested earlier in the month of May, like the first or second week of May. He said that before he got arrested, that I told him with Erica in the car that if I ever got stopped by the police, I was going to smoke them. Number one, anybody that knows me knows that I don't use the term smoke. I'm country as hell. That's like a 1930s gangster phrase that just everybody knows me will tell you. I did not say that. It's not a term I would use that will come out of my mouth. Why would anybody even say something like that to somebody? First of all. But 6 months after this happened, while he was incarcerated in Dixon County Jail, and went to court and got told that he was going to have to serve his 5 years community corrections violation. He went back to the jail. I saw the message from the kiosk and put in a request to the lieutenant of the jail that he needed to speak with detectives about the Daniel Becker case. Number one, why did he wait 6 months if this was something that was relevant to the case? Why did he wait till he knew he was going to go to prison to say something? He got an 18-month drug court program instead of going to prison for getting on the stand and saying that I said that to make this a premeditated murder.
Amy or Jennifer, do you have anything before I go on?
I'm just cringing.
Yeah, I'm thinking, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I'm in the car. Okay. I'm just wondering if you believe that, you know, home life, your early home life mixed with drugs got you here.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you
the
think
steps
he's?
that
Go ahead.
I started selling drugs when I was like 13 years old. Started selling weed.
Okay.
And then I went to Oxy 80s, and then I went to cocaine, and then I went to crack, and I sold mushrooms, and I sold LSD, and graduated all the way up to meth. One thing I never did mess with was heroin, because I wasn't want to be responsible for somebody dying over something I gave them.
But that could have happened on any of those.
Yeah. Do you think that anything could have been different? Could things have been different if you would have had a more stable upbringing or early life?
Yeah, I would have probably been, properly treated from an early age up. I probably, once you're exposed to a lifestyle of drugs and things like that, and abuse and things like that, it gets put in your mind of this is how life's supposed to be. You know what I mean? This is just a part of life. This is part of it. I mean, I'm a hard worker.
Right.
I've worked my ass off my whole life.
Yeah.
But I've always needed that extra money, or needed that high, or needed that, you know what I mean? That on the side part.
Did your dad or anybody else in your family, did they have any kind of criminal record that you knew of?
My dad had been to prison. He died since I got locked up, or since I caught this charge. I hadn't talked to him since I was 12 years old. The investigators on my case found him, and insisted that he wanted to talk to me. And I called him on the phone, and the first question out of his mouth wasn't, "How are you?" It wasn't blah, 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 blah. It wasn't nothing that a father would say to their child in this situation. It was, "Is your mother still alive?" And at that point in time, my mom had told me, because I talked to her beforehand, that if he said he asked anything about her, that she was dead. Because until the day my dad died, my mom lived in fear that someday he was just going to walk up to her and blow her head off.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's trauma, PTSD. Wow.
My mom, I mean, that's a real fear that my mom had until the day I told her that dad died. But when he asked me that, I said, "No, mom died." And he said, "Well, that's what this bitch deserves." I said, "Well, if that's all you got to say to me, Dad, that's all I got to say to you. Bye." And I hung up the phone. That was the complete conversation I had with my dad since I was 12 years old. About a month later, his girlfriend, about a month later, the investigators told my mom that my dad had died. And I got a message on the kiosk at Robertson County Jail from his girlfriend and her daughter that they wanted me to call her. And they said that they was going to leave me everything that my dad had left money-wise to help me out. It was like $36.
Were you like, thanks?
Right?
I told him, "You could have kept that. Please don't ever contact me again. Have a nice life," and left it at that.
I can't say I blame you on that one.
I mean,
I
Um,
may have missed this, but I'm wondering if he's ever thought about or contacted the officer's family.
no, we didn't talk about that.
Okay.
do what?
Have you ever contacted the victim's family?
No, I have not. I've at my trial, my lawyers told me when it was my time to get on the stand, do not say anything.
Yeah, because
So
they don't want you
one time I
to
listened
admit
to
anything.
I shouldn't have, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point in time, my lawyers tell you, I tell them, kiss my ass. I'm going to do what I want to do from this point on. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to do, and I was actually on a Zoom court meeting in December where my lawyer was talking about filing this motion for new trial. And we talked for 2 hours after that Zoom meeting because before it was over, I asked the judge if I could say something while Daniel Baker's family was watching it on YouTube. And I told him, I said, "Judge," I said, "out of respect," I said, "I do not wish to file a motion for new trial out of respect for Daniel Baker and his family." And boy, we had war. Like I said, it was a flip out over that.
Wow. Did you get to say anything though?
Huh?
Did you get to say anything though?
No, not at my trial because my lawyers advised me not to say anything. Because at my trial, what I would have said was, "I'm sorry for this. I would do anything in this world to take it back." Because I think about every day about Daniel Baker and what I would give to be able to bring him back for his family.
Wow.
I mean, and I would have laid it right out exactly what the hell Brian Hudnall was doing to them and how wrong it was of him to do that and how fucked up of a person it takes to do something like that to a family that's been through something like this.
So, Steven, I know I've asked you this before, and I mean no offense by this, but do you feel your sentence is warranted in this case? And if not, what do you feel like the appropriate sentence should be for yourself?
Me personally, if I have to give my life to bring any kind of justice for Daniel Baker and his family and his friends, I'm willing to do it. And I don't expect them to even forgive me after I do.
That is wow. Wow. Have you ever thought about, like, do you ever think about the younger ones that you're in prison with? Like, if you could tell them
There's
something.
only one person on death row that is younger than me.
What would you tell him? What would you tell him?
What, the guy that's here on death row that's younger than me?
Yeah. Like if there was someone like, that you could talk to help them or talk them out of this, what would you say?
Oh, I would tell them, get their shit together first off, get mental help, get drug addiction help, get their life together. People to get out of that setting of lifestyle and people around you that can put you in a situation like this. And that people out there that look at this as if they're above it. It took 45 seconds to change my life for the rest of my life. I never in my whole life did I sit there and think to myself, one day I'm going to be on death row. I never sat there and thought to myself in my life of one day I'm going to be a murderer. Because it can be as simple as them driving down the road to look down at their phone, to answer a text, and hit somebody and kill them, and they're a murderer that can spend the rest of their life in prison.
Absolutely.
So on the day that all of this happened, did you and Erica part ways that day?
Yes, I told her to run. I told her, get out of here. I don't want you to see. I didn't want anybody to see me like that. You know what I mean? And at that point in time, it wasn't exactly safe for her to be there with me. Because honestly, as she was running away from me, I thought to myself, should I shoot her?
Oh no.
I mean,
Why did that come into your head?
That's the thought that went to my mind because that's where I was at right then.
Right.
Wow.
Well,
I mean, Erica got 15 years at 100% just because she was there with me. She had nothing to do with it. She didn't know it was going to happen. Matter of fact, she didn't even know I had a gun because I told her the day before that I had traded the gun for dope.
it's interesting because when we talked to her, she made a comment about, saying that that she didn't choose to be in that particular situation, that she was put in that situation, and you have you've really kind of summed that up and explained why she felt that way.
Yeah, she did. They tried to say that she knew that they went as far to say that as she was leaning forward, putting her hair up, that it was a signal for me to shoot him. No, she didn't know. I'm surprised she didn't have to have her nose reset and stitches put in her face, because when I come up with that pistol, I come up so fucking fast and hard that I hit her in the face with it and knocked her head almost through the fucking headrest of the car.
Wow.
It's not, I mean, that's the reality of it. She didn't know it was going to happen. I'm glad that the Baker family offered her a plea deal because she was on a death penalty trial too over something she didn't have a part of. Didn't have a clue what was going to happen. didn't participate in, she run away.
Wow. Andrew?
So Steven, how do you feel about the death penalty being that you're on death row? Do you believe people should be executed for murder, specific types of murder, or do you believe that people should be spared?
I mean, I'm a death row inmate, and it's justifiable to me for what I did in my personal situation, because if that was my son, if that was my significant other, if that was, if that was somebody to me as what he was to the people in his life, they better, I would probably go to prison to get to them. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to give up my life for what I did, because it's justifiable to me in my situation. Now, does everybody here on death row belong here? No. We got 2 men here on death row right now that are innocent. One of them's on the news in Tennessee right now about getting ready to get acquitted after 23 years on death row for a double homicide that he did not do.
Oh, wow. So it's like in motion and actually going to happen?
I'm talking about got state representatives looking at his case to put back in front of the Supreme Court to get him off of death row, because the evidence does not add up. The witnesses are recanting their story. There's new witnesses coming forward that say, we know who did this.
Wow. Here's my question, and feel free to say no, it's okay. But would you mind sharing both of their names so that, I mean, I'm just curious because I'm a law professor and I like looking into cases and I like looking at documents and all of those things.
Well, his name is Gary Sutton. Is
Okay.
one I'm talking about that's got state representatives and everything else. And the other is actually the unit pastor here on Unit 2 on death row, and his name is Kevin Burns.
Okay.
And you can look up Fox 17 News in Nashville, Tennessee, and they've been running Dennis Ferrier investigates specials on Gary Sutton on the news about his case.
Interesting. I'm gonna look that up. Do you have access to like Securus or JPay or anything?
To what?
Do you have access to Securus or JPay?
Yes, I have JPay. Actually, they charged me $18,000 for my trial. So any money I get put on my commissary account, they take half of it for court cost.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we have somebody in the chat who said Jerry Sutton was her pastor growing up. Or Gary Sutton, rather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gary Sutton.
I don't think that was right, Gary.
Okay.
So Steven, since your case,
Gary's a good guy, but he's just not a pastor preacher guy. You know what I mean?
So Steven, since your case involves a cop killing, do you get treated differently in there by COs, and or do you get respect from inmates because of that?
No, not really. Whenever I first got here, there was a CO here that used to be a Dixon County cop that knew me, and I've raised hell in my life, and out of jail, in jail. You know what I mean? I've had altercations with police before, but I never even sued them. You know what I mean? There's police on Dixon County Sheriff's Office that know that if they go to arrest me, they walk up to me and say, "Steve, you got to go to jail, man." And I'll say, "Damn, all right, can I smoke a cigarette before I get in your car?" And I'll hop in the car and I'll ride off to jail without an issue. But, you know, he knows of altercations I've had, and when I first got here, they put me behind a special pie flap in cell 101 in A-pod, which means it's got a sliding door with a plastic flat with like a tray in front of it. That way it's like a double lock secure pie flat. Because they thought I was going to be trouble. Since I caught this charge, while I was in Robertson County Jail, I caught one write-up for having a pillow. I'm currently locked down at this present point in time because due to my medication and health problems, I have congestive heart failure and stuff. And medications I'm on, psychotic medication, antipsychotic medications. I don't use the bathroom very well. I've actually been on dialysis before from Dilantin and Depakote seizure medications that shut my kidneys down. And they said that I refused to take a drug test.
What?
Yeah, and charged me $300 fine for not taking the drug test. So I'm going to be locked down for a year and a half because we're on a level system here. Right now I'm a C level. It takes at least a year to do a C level. You move to a B level, which is at least 6 months. And then you go back to A level where you can come out of your cell, you know, whenever you want and get a job and stuff like that.
A year and a half seems excessive for not taking a drug test, but
there's a guy here that hasn't been out behind the door in I think 31 years, I think.
you mean like he's been locked down that long?
Yes. But he cut a guy's throat and the dude died on the way there. Luckily the dude survived, but he did cut the dude's throat and he died. But he's been locked down ever since. But of course he hasn't been compliable either to get off of lockdown either. You know what I mean? He's the one person on the unit that is trouble. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's 46 people on death row, and he's one that you just don't know what you're gonna get with. You know what I mean?
I got you. Wow.
And as far as a year and a half ago, he cut his own penis off with a piece of glass and a razor blade.
What?
Yes.
Who did this? Did you say it was this guy?
Yeah, his name is Henry Hodge.
Oh, Lord. And how did that work out for him?
How did that work out for him?
Well, he wears a diaper every day, so.
Oh. I don't even know what to say to that.
That is wild. That is wild.
Yeah.
So he cut his whole penis off.
Yeah, right. He might have a little stuff left from what I understand. I give him catheters to use the bathroom and stuff.
A little stuff left. A little
Oh my
stuff
God.
left.
Not the stuff.
Actually, he cut it off. They sewed it back on, and he ripped it off again.
What?
Dude, what? What?
Yes.
What?
I don't even know what to say to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look this guy up because I don't know what to say.
I mean, I'm fucking nuts, but Jesus Christ.
That is beyond.
I've
That
hung
is
myself like 5 times. And fucking, I went through some extreme shit to myself. I've died 3 times, like dead, passed out, lids blue, fucking dead 3 times. And I could never do something like that.
Oh, yeah, I don't,
like
yeah,
Jesus. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even like that to me is like hospital mentally ill type stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's current lawsuits in effect that they're saying that that's the mental element of being locked behind a door for so long. You know what I mean?
I actually do know what you mean. That's one of the things that is kind of hotly debated on the topic. Yeah. Oh gosh. I that is wild.
So do all the like officers, how do they treat him? Like
Uh, well,
yeah, like all
none
the
of the officers here, honest to God, treat anybody badly unless the person is trying to treat the officer bad. You know what I mean? They don't overly just go out of their way to be unnecessary to us. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good.
I mean, we got one of the better staffs in prison here on Unit 2. Like, most people, they screen the officers before they even put them over on Unit 2. You know what I mean?
So we have like 2 minutes left. Does anybody have any more questions? Amy, Jennifer, anybody in the chat?
I think everybody's speechless.
Do you guys want him to call back, or should we wrap it up?
Totally up to you. Does anybody have any questions? Oh yeah, do you have any children? That was asked.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I have a 13-year-old son. I think he's listening. I actually talked to him just a few minutes before I called to get on here to let his mom and them know to log on to listen if they wanted to. If he is, hi son, I love you.
Aw. Then yes, do call back because I
My
now have
mom
more
will be here
questions.
this Saturday to visit me.
Aw, that's so good that you have support. That is something that a lot of people don't have. Too many people in society think that elderly and people in prison are just disposable.
Well, I only have one source of finance.
You have 1 minute remaining.
And that's my mom. And I mean, she's a Walmart worker. She doesn't make much money, but she overdoes it trying to just do something for me.
Right.
Can you call back one more time?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for using GTL.
Sonny, I'm sure they do wish that they could visit with their loved one. And one of the things that I do want to say is that part of the reason that we have been doing these conversations is it is about trying to figure out what goes wrong. Is it nature? Is it nurture? Is it a little bit of both? We all have our opinions about that. It's about learning what the system's really like on the inside. I agree with you, Rainbow. I really do. And it's I don't know, but now I'm very curious about that. Where did Jen go?
I have no idea.
Press 0 to refuse this call. Your current balance is 55 cents.
Oh crap! It'll probably be like 5 minutes because I only have 55 cents on here.
And is subject to monitoring and recording.
Okay.
Hey, we probably have time for like one more question because I guess my money's at 55 cents.
Okay.
Yeah. So, does anybody else have any questions before we let Steven go?
Um, so I have a question. So you do talk to your child and have a relationship there?
Yes, and I try to give him the absolute most ethical, moral understanding and advice and that I can as a father to him. I try to tell him everything I wish somebody would have told me growing up.
That's good. Well, all I can say is that I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I just want to put it out there again. Anybody that's going through mental health issues, that's untreated or undiagnosed, go get help. Anybody out there on drugs, go get help. Anybody out there living a kind of lifestyle that's the wrong way to live, that's dangerous for you, your children, your household, anything, change your life. Get help. There's programs out there that can do it for you.
Very true. I do appreciate you talking with us. It's been very insightful, a little scary with the other guy. Um, yeah. Um,
Oh, and
is
anybody that's out there, we are a completely off the grid unit from the rest of the prison. Our resort is caged in, all concrete. We never get to touch grass. So anybody that's out there, walk on some grass for us.
uh, I'll walk on it with shoes, no
Never
bare
realize
feet.
how much you miss it until you can't do it.
All right. Is it okay if I send you a message on JPay?
We don't have tablets here.
Oh,
Yeah, you
you
would have to write him a
don't.
physical letter.
Oh, is it okay if I write you a letter then?
It has
I
to
like
be blue or black
writing.
ink. It has to have your name and return address on it. No printed papers. You know what I mean? Because all of our legal mail is supposed to be printed. No printed mail, blue or black ink. No photos that aren't actual photos on photo grade paper. You know, anybody out there see nice sunsets, cool scenery, plates of food they want, send me a picture of it. I miss it.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you.
My mom actually uses an app to send me pictures called Billy Post. It's an app to send.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Oh, it was quick.
All right. Well, thank you, Steven. I'll get a message to you in a few days to have you call me, and then we can catch up then. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Everybody that's out there that knows me, that's listening, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all support. Thank you very much.
I'll
All
be
right. Thanks,
following
Steven.
your legal stuff.
All right, thank y'all.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, later.
All right. Bye.
So, listen, I wanted to say, I don't know how many of you guys are into literature. And I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the writer. But there was a story that he kind of reminded me of when he was talking about the whole argument about people going crazy because, they're locked up. And it's called The Yellow Wallpaper, and it's about a lady who gets put in, her husband takes her away, to help her basically get some rest because, he thinks she's like, I guess, going crazy. And anyhow, so she gets locked in this room for her own good, and she essentially ends up literally going crazy. And that's kind of what he just reminded me of when he was talking about that. um, I do think that it can happen. And I think you also, like I was talking with Jen the other day, one of the things that, if we're talking about nature versus nurture, we have a lot of things that, I don't know, I feel like you can have something that triggers that other something, right? And we were talking about one of my friend's children and her daughter when she went to go get her vaccines at 9 months old. She's perfectly, normal child, growing, perfectly, crawling, hitting all the milestones, rolling over, doing all that stuff. And then when she went and got her 9-month vaccines, all of a sudden, within a week, she couldn't do anything anymore. She couldn't roll over. She had no muscle tone, like whatsoever. It was all just gone. And anyhow, but it was the fever that came after the vaccines that triggered this like dormant ailment that she had. And I feel like this is kind of the same way with, if you have something and you have this layered abuse on top of it, it just, I don't know, I feel like it can make it grow even more. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I'm listening to you. I was just getting back to somebody on the Getting Out app.
I didn't get any messages from Mr. Smith today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll email him today. He hasn't been online since I've been on there, so maybe he's just been offline today or down in the dumps or something like that.
Mm. Um, I do think it's a fascinating look, though, when you get a chance to. I mean, I don't know. When you have this kind of a situation, it's not edited for TV or anything like that, which I think is also good when you've got the rawness behind it. Um, he's in Riverbend Maximum Security.
Yep, that's the men's death row in Tennessee, and it's in Nashville actually.
That is wild. Um, uh, Jen said she had to hop off because she had an emergency. I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. All right.
Um, all right. Well, I won't keep everybody, but thank you so much for being here. Oh, and by the way, on Saturday, we have a conversation with Terry Hobbs coming, that will be live, and he is the stepfather to Stevie Branch from the West Memphis Three victims. Um, I don't believe that his execution has been scheduled. It's still a relatively
No, it'll
super new
probably be
case.
it'll probably be years or possibly decades from now because, like he said, there's a guy there that's been on there for I think 31 years or 21 years. I forget what he said, but his case might be quicker because it has to do with a police officer. But you never know.
Uh, I mean, it might. Oh, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because I'm kind of wondering what they're basing the appeal on. And I'll be honest, if I would have known that he had an appeal in the works, I would have been like, no, we should not talk. Um, he should be very guarded.
Right. Well, like he said, he's not looking to get a new trial and stuff like that because he doesn't want to put the victim's family through everything all over again. And he's told me before, I think during our interview that he doesn't if it was up to him, he wouldn't do any appeals or anything like that because he just doesn't want to put the victim's family more than they've already gone through, which I guess kind of makes sense, but at the same time it's up to the offender really to drop their appeals or keep appealing. So, yeah.
That's true. The the defendant has their goal is to choose the objective of what they want to do. It's up to the attorneys to determine how to navigate that, and I think it'll be interesting to see.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So, by the way, I took Hayden to go drop her off at college today, and we had to go through like all of these meetings and everything, and then we had to drive like 2 hours back to get home. And on the way home, she texted us and said that the cops were at her dorm. And I was like, what, the cop? And I was like, how many cops? And she said, there's 3 cars. And then she goes, oh my God. She goes, now the fire department's here. So it turns out a kid set a fire in her dorm room, And how about the family? Hayden said, Hayden was like, the family and her are literally taking pictures of themselves in front of the fire truck. And I was like, no, like, no, we're not doing this. I was like, my son Chris goes, maybe they're just trying to commemorate it. And Hayden was like, nope, they were laughing. And I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
Yes. So I was like, what a way to start your college time, because their classes start on Monday and they all had to move in today. And my husband was like, if I was the person whose kid gets kicked out on the first day for starting a fire before it's even really your first day, I want to be like, no, that's it, we're done. Disowning you.
Right.
Um, so it's crazy. And hate my kid has zero tolerance, like zero tolerance for any kind of antics.
That's good. Well, I mean, the kid of a law professor, that's how she should be.
Yeah. Listen, my kid is she is the real MVP. I'm telling you what. She has taken up for so many kids when other people wouldn't. And there was a kid in one of her classes that told another kid right in front of the teacher, if you don't like what I'm saying, why don't you go out in the field and pick some cotton for me? Teacher said
Wow.
not a word. My kid was so offended that she went to the administration herself. She was like, I'm done. Like, that was not okay. The teacher not saying anything was not okay. And I was like, you know what, girl? That's my DNA.
Yeah, that's messed up. I was bullied as a kid, so I get that completely. That's not cool at all.
No, no, it's not okay. So it'll be interesting to see how she tolerates living in a dorm with other kids. She might end up being like, I'm just going to come back home and go to the school closest so that we don't have to deal with anybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's always a challenge. I went to college, but I didn't live in the dorms, thankfully, and I probably would have turned into an alcoholic if I did, because all my friends that went to universities became like alcoholics or were doing like pills and shrooms and all that, and I never got into any of that stuff.
Yeah, well, I would tell you, I was telling Kevin, I was like, I'm kind of jealous because I didn't get to do that, in the, I don't know what it's like to have like a normal kid. My older four kids didn't really, take this normal route. They kind of went around in a different way. And so I was like, I don't really know. And then we get this, and I'm like, never mind. I'm glad I skipped it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, thank you for coming by. Yes, have a great evening. And again, we'll have Terry Hobbs on Saturday. So if you like the West Memphis 3 case, then make sure you tune in. If you don't know anything about the case, we'll be talking about it. And come with your questions. Just don't make them personal. Like, we don't care um, what they eat and who they're eating with.
Yeah, we'll only have I think in for an hour plus. So we'll obviously weed out the questions that aren't really, how do I say, like relevant to the case or whatever, and obviously we won't read the negative comments, but yeah, we'll ask him questions related to the case, and yeah, an hour plus, probably like an hour and 15 minutes tops, I would say, with Terry. And it'll be on Facebook, uh YouTube, and I think TikTok, right? You can stream it to TikTok too.
Yeah, I'll figure out how to do it better. Um, My mom wants to know what time it's supposed to be. I can't remember. Is it supposed to be?
So it's 10 a.m. Pacific time, so that's 10, 11, 12, 1 p.m. your time, I think.
Oh, that is not what my calendar says.
What does your calendar say?
Is that what my calendar says? Hold on. Never mind. Yes, it does say that. Oh, I know why it didn't say that, because I was in Alabama in a different time zone.
Oh, okay, okay, that makes
That's
sense.
why. So 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, and it'll be fun. Hopefully. Yeah, it'll be.
Yeah, it'll be a good
So,
time. I always Terry's an interesting dude, and he's really nice and really welcoming and whatnot. And me and my friend are working on a documentary right now. It should be done in the next like 1 to 4 months tops, and it's about Terry Hobbs, not necessarily the West Memphis 3 case, but about Terry Hobbs himself. And it's slowly but surely getting done. We're hoping to have a trailer out soon so we can give it to any true crime network that wants to, broadcast it for the first time, which we're hoping we can get like True Crime Daily or Dr. Phil or something like that to do it. Because plus it's free money and free promotion for them. You know what I mean? So yeah,
and you just got a plug on Dr. Phil.
I did. Yes, that was amazing. It was awesome.
And I don't know if Jason's in here, but I saw Jason, my favorite PI friend, got a shout out in Touch magazine.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, because he's doing the Bundy victim search out in Colorado. I think next month.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Is he gonna live stream it or is he not able to?
I don't know what he's gonna do. I haven't heard that far in advance.
Yeah, that's exciting though. Hopefully they come up with something.
Speaking of which, Jason, if you're in here, you should totally be one of our next people we talk to. Jason's fascinating. He's got so many interesting stories, and he's he's solved JonBenet Ramsey. Just got to get people to listen to him. I agree with him.
Yeah, he seems like an interesting dude. We should definitely talk to him sometime soon.
Yeah, I'll text him. All right.
All right, that sounds good. I just sent you a message by the way on Facebook. Oh shit, I don't know if.
I don't know the answer to that. I'll call her and see.
Okay, all right, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right,
Have a good one,
talk
you
to you
guys.
soon. Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yes. Bye.